Welcome to the Memory and History channel. Be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on more videos like this one. A young boy stands on a dusty street in Montgomery, Alabama during the 1930s. His clothes worn, his expression solemn. The Great Depression hangs in the air, yet his eyes reflect a quiet resilience shaped by hard times and southern heat. "12-year-old Sarah Collins, a survivor of the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, September 1963, sits quietly, her bandaged face marked by trauma. Shards of glass from the explosion left her permanently blind in one eye. Italian soldiers pose atop a captured British Universal Bren carrier in the Egyptian desert, 1942. Their uniforms are dusty and sun-bleached from the North African heat, rifles slung casually as they examine their prize. A lively 1920s party scene unfolds in a grand Art Deco ballroom bathed in golden light. Men in sharp tuxedos and slicked-back hair dance with women in shimmering flapper dresses adorned with feathers and pearls. Champagne glasses clink, a jazz band swings in the corner, and the air buzzes with laughter and cigarette smoke. A haunting 1916 factory scene inside the U.S. Radium Corporation in Orange, New Jersey. A young woman, one of the Radium girls, sits at a long wooden workbench beneath dim industrial lamps. She wears a pale dress and a smock dusted with faint, ghostly luminescence. Russia, 1916. Rasputin's piercing eyes glare through candlelight. Nobles whisper in fear, the mad monk who won't die. Poison in his veins, bullets in his chest, frozen waters closing above him. Yet his legend refuses to sink. June 7th, 1951. Werner Braune stands still before the noose. Once a Nazi executioner, now awaiting his own end. The man who ordered 14,300 deaths meets silence, history's final judgment closing in. At Schwarzau am Steinfeld Castle, Archduke Charles weds Princess Zita. The grand ceremony masks the shadow of a fading empire. Within a decade, crowns will fall, but here, the royal couple still smiles beneath chandeliers. Red Army veterans return to Saar Mogila, the hill where so many fell. Their uniforms faded, their faces lined. They stand in silence, haunted by echoes of 1943, when victory came at an unbearable cost. '16. The GM-15. Gummy mask, an early German gas mask, symbolized World War I's grim evolution. Designed to shield soldiers from chlorine and mustard gas, it captured the terrifying reality of industrialized warfare. Survival behind rubber, filters, and fear. 40. Amid the chaos of World War II, soldiers shared brief moments of joy. In a dimly lit bar, laughter echoed as they sipped Coca-Cola with their dates, a fleeting taste of normalcy before returning to the uncertainty of war. '41. In occupied Soviet territory, a German soldier forces an Orthodox Jew into humiliation. The scene captures the brutality and dehumanization inflicted during the Holocaust, a moment of cruelty that reflected the regime's hatred and moral collapse. Early 2000s, Edmund Kemper, the notorious serial killer known for his chilling intelligence and calm demeanor, sits inside California medical facility alongside two guards. Decades after his crimes, he remains a haunting figure of psychological darkness. '16. Austro-Hungarian officers pose proudly with a captured Italian machine gun in the harsh Dolomite Mountains. Amid snow and rock, the photo reflects both triumph and exhaustion in one of World War I's most brutal Alpine battles, 80s. The MVU-30 fertilizer spreader rolls across Soviet farmlands near Minsk, built by the Minsk automobile plant. It symbolizes the USSR's push for agricultural mechanization, a rugged machine driving productivity amid collective farm life. '45, in Kuala Lumpur, defeated Japanese officers stand solemnly in line, surrendering their swords to the 25th Indian Division. The moment marks Japan's humiliation and the symbolic end of imperial pride after years of brutal conquest. Amid the mud and chaos of war, an Austro-Hungarian soldier receives a shave from a field barber. A rare moment of normalcy and discipline, it shows how soldiers clung to small routines amid destruction. '40s, '50s. Harlem's black Jewish community thrived in faith and identity, blending African American culture with Jewish traditions. In vibrant streets and modest synagogues, they built a unique spiritual movement rooted in resilience, pride, and unity. October 24th, 1944. The Japanese battleship Yamato, pride of the Imperial Navy, is struck by a bomb in the Sibuyan Sea. Flames and chaos erupt aboard the colossal warship as Allied air power proves its devastating dominance. Leslie Ronald Jones, 1886-1967, an American photojournalist whose lens captured early 20th century Boston life. From bustling streets to sports and tragedy, his images preserve the raw rhythm of a city in motion and transformation, 1939. Olivia de Havilland and Vivian Leigh share a quiet moment on the set of Gone with the Wind, two icons of Hollywood's golden age. Their grace and strength defined one of cinema's most unforgettable eras. October 22nd, 1975. Spanish dictator Francisco Franco, frail and fading, appears in public for one of the last times. A month later, his death would end nearly 4 decades of authoritarian rule and open Spain's path to democracy. January 10th, 1945, PFC George Bruce Kelly of Clappertown, Pennsylvania, fell during the Battle of the Bulge near Butgenbach, Belgium. At just 24, his sacrifice reflects the courage and loss of a generation that fought for freedom. Day 3. A British artillery tractor drives through chaos as a mine detonates nearby. Amid smoke and flying debris, the crew pushes forward, a stark glimpse of bravery and peril on the ever-shifting front lines of war. Lisbon, Portugal. The city of Seven Hills glows beneath a timeless sun. Trams rattle through narrow streets, where ocean air mingles with the scent of salt and stone, a quiet harmony between history's echo and the pulse of life. '99. An American young man stands poised at the turn of a new century. His gaze holds both innocence and ambition, a bridge between fading tradition and the dawn of modernity, when hope still wore a formal collar and quiet pride. Week 3. In Leningrad, Henri Cartier-Bresson captures a fleeting moment of quiet Soviet life. Faces blur between resilience and routine, framed by the geometry of history, where every glance, every shadow, tells a story time dares not erase. Amid the jungle fury of Guadalcanal, a Japanese soldier rises to throw a grenade. His comrade braced for the unseen enemy ahead. Smoke, sweat, and death hang heavy in the humid air as desperation becomes valor's final language. Before leading a nation, Bob Hawke led the pub in cheers, downing 2.5 pints in just 11 seconds. Years later, that same spirited man became Australia's beloved Prime Minister, uniting hard work and humor in equal measure. '38. Errol Flynn and Basil Rathbone crossblades in The Adventures of Robin Hood. Sparks fly, steel clashes, and cinema finds its rhythm. A timeless duel between hero and villain that turned courage into choreography and legend into light. From 1840 to 1940, a century of British postal pride unfolds in fabric and form. Each uniform marks progress, from stoic Victorian coats to modern precision, carrying not just letters, but the evolving identity of a nation in motion. Maria Montez, the Dominican-born queen of Technicolor, whose fiery beauty lit up 1940s Hollywood. Draped in jeweled gowns and exotic mystique, she turned every frame into a dream, a goddess of illusion in cinema's golden haze. '41. On the war-torn fields of Ukraine, Italian soldiers pause to share cigarettes and brief words with weary civilians. Amid conquest and fear, small moments of humanity flicker, smoke curling between strangers divided by the tides of war. '41 to '42. In occupied Ukraine, Italian soldiers share cigarettes and quiet conversation with local civilians. For a fleeting moment, the smoke softens the war's hard edges. Enemies, occupiers, and survivors bound briefly by the illusion of normalcy. '45. In Norway's cold aftermath of war, captured German Mauser 98K rifles lie in silent rows. Once instruments of conquest, they now rest as relics, steel ghosts of a fallen regime and the soldiers who carried them. The Gendarme and the Dragon, a timeless image where duty meets myth. A lone officer faces a painted beast, half in jest, half in fear, a reminder that even in order and law, imagination still dares to breathe fire. June 18th, 1983. 17-year-old Mona Mahmoudnejad danced before her execution in Iran. Her final act, a defiance of fear itself. In the shadow of injustice, her grace became immortal, a silent hymn of faith, courage, and unbroken spirit. October 23rd, 1942. The morning after chaos at Henderson Field, 9 shattered Japanese tanks lay silent in the mud of Guadalcanal. The night had burned with steel and fire, and by dawn, only smoke and silence marked the cost of courage. 1956. Under the shimmer of the Ballyhoo Ball, bandleader Ray Anthony and his wife Mamie Van Doren embody mid-century glamour. Music, champagne, and flashbulbs collide, a golden moment when Hollywood's rhythm beat in perfect time with desire. Under the blazing Queensland sun, 2 Australian soldiers comb the scorched earth for fragments of a fallen bomb. The third raid on Townsville has passed, leaving behind silence, dust, and the uneasy heartbeat of a land at war. In Hokkaido's frozen stillness, Michael Kenna captures Dakekanba and snow barriers, a landscape suspended between silence and breath. Minimal lines, endless white, where nature speaks softly, and emptiness becomes its own quiet form of grace. Duddy Boukman, the enslaved priest whose voice ignited the Haitian Revolution, stood beneath storm and fire, calling his people to freedom. His words became thunder, and from chains and blood a black nation rose unbroken and sovereign. '36. Jesse Matthews, radiant under studio lights, embodied the golden charm of British cinema. With every smile and graceful turn, she carried a nation's hope between wars, a star who danced through hardship with effortless, luminous joy. (1962), in The Manchurian Candidate, Lawrence Harvey and Leslie Parrish stand amid paranoia and desire, framed by shadows of control. Every glance hints at manipulation, a chilling dance where love, politics, and hypnosis blur into one haunting truth. (44) In Senna, Germany, RSI troops train beneath the fading shadow of a doomed empire. Their uniforms crisp, their eyes uncertain, preparing for battles already lost, driven by duty, fear, and the last echoes of loyalty. Circa 1930. In Japan, young and old samurai stand side by side at a pageant, their armor gleaming beneath a modern sky. Tradition and change meet in silence, the past bowing gracefully to the uncertain rhythm of the future. Somewhere in the desert, southwest, an endless horizon hums beneath the sun's weight. Dust drifts like memory across forgotten trails, where silence reigns and time itself seems to pause, listening to the wind whisper through the bones of the earth. Murder 1. At 63, Annie Edson Taylor climbed into a wooden pickle barrel and faced Niagara's fury. The roar swallowed her whole, but she emerged alive, trembling and triumphant, the first to conquer the falls and live to tell it. (45) Winston Churchill sits upon the shattered throne of his enemy, Hitler's chair reduced to a relic of ruin. Smoke still clings to the air as history shifts, one man's arrogance replaced by another's weary triumph. (97) Diana Ross, radiant and carefree, savors ribs with effortless glamour. Laughter, lipstick, and soul, she turns even a simple meal into a performance of confidence and grace, reminding the world that true style never asks. Permission. Ferenc Szombathely, in 1946, was a Hungarian military officer who served as chief of the general staff of the Royal Hungarian Army during World War II. Tracer round slice. Through the tropical sky. The gun camera trembles as two Japanese Betty bombers streak toward Darwin. Explosions bloom in the distance. Sunlight, smoke, and death merge. A heartbeat frozen in film, the hunter and the hunted midair. Laughter fills the smoky room. Harpo's grin, Jane's sparkle, Sinatra's effortless cool, Skelton's charm. Flashes pop as cameras capture Hollywood's golden pulse. It's 1961. Fame, friendship, and champagne blend into a single glittering moment of timeless American glamour. William Patrick Hitler, caught between blood and ideology. Once seeking his uncle's approval, he became his defiant opposite. Escaping Nazi Germany, he fought for the Allies instead, proving that even within darkness, loyalty to conscience can forge a different kind of legacy. A quiet moment on Bear Street. London, 1936. Cobbled roads glisten after rain. Buses rumble past and men in flat caps hurry home. The city stands between wars, still proud, still breathing, unaware of the storm soon coming. Born October 23, 1940, in Brooklyn, Ellie Greenwich shaped the sound of the 1960s. Her songs, Be My Baby, Dadu Ron Ron, Chapel of Love, defined an era of innocence and rhythm, echoing through decades of pop history. In just her second film, Cactus Flower, 1969, Goldie Hawn captured hearts with her charm and wit, earning both an Academy Award and a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actress. marking the dazzling start of her legendary Hollywood career. A young Christopher Walken in the 1970s, sharp features, electric eyes, and that unmistakable cool confidence. Long before becoming a Hollywood icon, he was already radiating the strange, magnetic energy that would define his legendary career. Auto 2, Quentin Roosevelt. The spirited youngest son of President Theodore Roosevelt sits beside Roswell Pinckney, son of the White House steward. Two boys from very different worlds, laughing and playing together on the steps of American power. A young girl from the 1920s, dressed as Night for Halloween, draped in dark fabric and stars. Her costume captures the eerie beauty of the era when Halloween was poetic, mysterious, and handmade magic still ruled the night. Exhausted soldiers of the German 8th Army sit in the frozen Russian wasteland, January 1943. Whether captured or merely resting, their faces reveal the same truth: the brutal cold and despair of a campaign collapsing into silence. A Japanese soldier stands beside the shattered remains of a vehicle in wartime China. The twisted metal and barren landscape around him speak of destruction and endurance amid the long, bitter conflict that consumed both nations. A confident woman poses proudly beside her Harley, embodying freedom, rebellion, and timeless cool. The gleam of chrome and her fearless stance capture the spirit of the open road and the era's bold independence. October 21st, 1917. American troops step onto the front lines at Somervilliers for the first time. Under French command, these soldiers mark the United States' entry into the brutal reality of World War I's Western Front. The Kai-44 Eco-Fighter, serial number 1308, sits at Fusa Air Base under the Army Aviation Examination Department. Sleek and formidable, it represents Japan's relentless pursuit of aerial dominance during the final years of World War II. An American ace pilot in Tunisia, 1943, stands proudly beside his aircraft, its fuselage marked with an impressive kill tally. His calm gaze hides the exhaustion of endless desert missions and the burden of survival amid relentless dogfights. Italian paratroopers of the Nembo group converse with German Fallschirmjägers on the Anzio Nettuno front, February 1944. Mud, smoke, and exhaustion surround them, allies bound by duty, sharing brief moments of calm before the next brutal clash. A young woman stands poised for her portrait in the 1870s. Her gaze steady, her posture graceful, a quiet defiance against time. Every stitch, every curl, every shadow whispers the elegance and restraint of a vanished century. Geronimo and his warriors stand proud in the rugged Sierra Madres. 1886. Faces hardened by survival, eyes burning with defiance, just weeks before surrendering to General Crook, and days before vanishing once more into legend. Japanese forces marched through the smoldering ruins of Changsha on June 19, 1944. After fierce urban battles and relentless air raids, the once proud city fell, marking one of the bloodiest victories of Japan's campaign in China.